Hello everyone and welcome to NFL Discussion. I'm your host and NFL enthusiast Dougie Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing the start of the 2023 through 2024 NFL season. Week 1 opening night, the Detroit Lions versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So NFL Discussion, just like WWE and AEW Discussion, is starting anew. I'm not 100% sure on how I'm going to do these episodes throughout the season, so we're going to try this episode out as a little bit of a test run and see kind of how things go, see what changes we can see, what changes could be made, if any, and yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get into the action of this game. And the way this episode kind of breaks out is basically just kind of do a quick run through of team performances and kind of go through quarterback stat lines and quarterback performances. And yeah, with that, let's get into the action. Starting with the Detroit Lions. So Jared Goff completed 22 of 35 passes for 253 yards and a touchdown. So the Lions the Lions defense, in particular, Aiden Hutchinson, he dominated, and that defense showed some toughness, and as a result of that defensive performance, they stifled the Chiefs' undermanned, error-prone skill corps. So Goff didn't really have to do much in this game other than just play point guard and sustain drives to enable the Lions to pull off a upset narrowly on the road. Goff was also the victim of some of his own receiver errors, notably a lost fumble in the red zone. There was also some questionable play calling. I will admit the fake punt, gutsy call, but probably not a necessary call. And I think there was another instance too. Wasn't the Lions who went for it on fourth down when they didn't need? No, I think that was the Chiefs I'm thinking of. Either way, questionable play calling and a failure by Ghost outside wide wideouts to complement Amon St. Brown's inside game. So not an overly positive night for the Lions offense, but this was one of the toughest tests they will face all season. It did remain clear that they need some sort of enhanced boundary presence. Hopefully when Jameson Williams returns from his suspension, he will be able to provide that. Up next is the Seahawks in week 2, and that has potential shootout. So again, modest output for Lions offense in this victory, but still a pretty good win for the Lions to start off the season. Give a shout out to the rookies on offense and defense. They stepped up, and I talked about it too. Aiden Hutchinson dominated on defense, and also the other members of the defense like CJ Gardner-Johnson showing that toughness. So the Lions, they have a potential to, if they continue to improve over this season, to be a good football team. This was a good start of the season for the Lions. And as for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes would complete 21 of 39 passes for 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Doomsday night for Mahomes and the Chiefs without Travis Kelce on offense, as he watched his pass catchers commit one mistake after another. None worse than the interception that was in reality a drop on the receiver that would get, and as a result of that, it was housed for a pick 6. Tony had a second drop in the second quarter. Yeah, second drop in the fourth quarter, and a third where some of the blame, you could also put it at Mahomes as well, because that wasn't a great throw. But Tony himself had a rough night. There was a lot of hype about what this guy could do in the Chiefs offense, and he got off to a rough start. Got completely buried on the internet, which is bound to happen when you play poorly on prime time. In addition to the miscues from Tony, Mahomes could only watch this guy more continually fail to make plays in tight quarters. The evening highlighted the importance of Kelce to the offense, and the Chiefs' potential need to make a move for a more proven wideout, provided there is one available to either sign or trade. I don't know who that would be off the top of my head, but if there's somebody available, you might want to look at bringing them in. I guess if there was a bright spot on offense, it would be second-round rookie Rashid Rice. He caught 3 of 5 targets for 29 yards and a touchdown. So if you are expecting to shoot out in this game, it ultimately did not materialize. But Mahomes will have another plus scoring environment week 2 against the Jaguars. So I think Travis Kelce being out of this game I think that's why it's so hard to read to read too much into this loss. Like, yeah, the Chiefs lost, and it's not ideal, but I think you gotta also give credit to the Lions for their performance, and also not read too much into this loss for the Chiefs because their best player on offense, Travis Kelce, was not playing. But it also shows a potential weakness for the Chiefs as well too. That when you're tight end, that when your number one passing option is out of the lineup, nobody else seems to be able to step up. So that could be a potential issue down the line. But provided Kelsey's back in the lineup and stays 100% the rest of the season, Kansas City's offense should be alright. But certainly gotta keep an eye on the receivers, Tony and Moore. Gotta see if these guys can have a bounce back game. I'm not, there's no reason in my mind to write these guys off just yet. It was a bad night, but let's see what they can do next week. As for defense, Chris Jones. Talk about important players. Chris Jones, probably Kansas City's most important player on defense. He was not in the lineup. He was just sitting in a box, which, I'll be honest, I'm not really a fan of players holding out for money. I don't really get it. I just think if you want to get paid, which Chris Jones should get paid, but he also should be there for his team. And it kind of seems like he's not really, he's just not there for his team. Sitting in the skybox is not really the same thing as being on the field. But give credit to the other people and to the other guys on defense. They all stepped up in his absence, and they played well for the most part. Although I do have to wonder on that, I think it was that third down conversion where the Lions essentially iced the game on a run. If Chris Jones was in that lineup, does that turn out any differently? And also, going forward on 4th and 25, the Chiefs did I talked about bad play calling for the Lions. That was a bad play call for the Chiefs right there. There was no reason to go for it on 4th and 25 when you had 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning still to come. But so great start for the Lions. Rough start for the Chiefs. Football was back. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of NFL Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.